Hello, and welcome to Tech to Tech presented by KYZEN, where we will explore common cleaning questions and answers. Let's get started. I would like to introduce KYZEN's own Bill Tomasello.
Thanks, William. And thanks to everybody who's joined in today for another installment of Tech to Tech. This is the third in our case study series. And I've got a great example today, a case study from one of my customers talking about combination chemistries and how we're able to help them solve a challenge and gain some business. Customer of mine working in the EV market, producing transmission parts. My customer had several different challenges, several expectations of their customer to them. These folks had to provide clean parts, focusing on two different types of metals, ferrous, non-ferrous metals as well, steel and aluminum. And they needed to provide 90 days of corrosion protection on these parts. You can see the aluminum housing here and the steel ring insert. So there were certain concerns that they had, a lot of details, and we needed to uncover that to ensure we could find a balanced solution for them. Customer didn't have a current process in place for cleaning, but they looked at the ISO specifications, and I'm sure any of you who have worked in automotive understand that they're defined through that ISO spec, an allowable number of particulates and particulate size ranges that are permitted on a part after cleaning. So we had to take a lot of variables and a lot of details into consideration and focus on, again, the steel and the aluminum substrates. We talk about that quite frequently at KYZEN, right? Understanding the soil, the substrate, understand the process, the product, the machinery you're using. And what we found is that there were polar and non-polar soils involved that needed to be removed. But we had to take a look at finding a chemistry that would be a good fit, not only for the steel, but for the aluminum. Make sure we didn't etch that aluminum. And then, of course, provide the equivalent of 90 days of corrosion protection on that steel ring insert that you can see here. Part of what we always do in the process is to take a look at the manufacturer's cleanliness expectations, and again, define what is clean. In this case, the ISO spec really defined that for our customer. And then we have to get samples in, because KYZEN's applications lab is going to focus on reviewing these parts in various tests with our chemistries to see how we can provide that value, how we can achieve what needs to happen there. And we found in this instance, certainly through aqueous chemistries, a great product for our customer. And this was wonderful in cleaning and keeping the aluminum safe, but also providing that 90-day corrosion protection. What we do with the majority of our customers is get samples in, right? Dirty samples to evaluate. We focused on cleaning this with our Metalnox 6314 CP combination chemistry. One set of samples we put through a wash process with 3% concentration. The second set, our same Metalnox 6314 CP, but with 6% concentration. And after we worked through the aqueous wash, we placed these parts all into a humidity chamber. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with the humidity chamber, but certainly from KYZEN's standpoint, a 90-90 proposition is what we talk about frequently. 90% relative humidity, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 days, which correlates to 90 days of real world protection. So 1 day in a humidity chamber equals 9 days real world time. Through the process, you'll see through these photos here with the green tags, this was test number 1 of these steel ring inserts, Metalnox 6314 CP with 3% concentration. It did an okay job, but you can still see challenges with corrosion after the humidity chamber. Test 2, over here on this side with the yellow tags, we use 6% concentration. All the other data being the same chemistry, same time, same humidity, and you can see a much better result. So that gave us some really good parameters to give to our customer in our lab report. And in completing that, we said, look, here's a combination chemistry to get you the 90-day rust protection. It's going to clean your parts. It's going to avoid flash corrosion of the steel. It's a really good process to start with when you take this to your shop and do real world cleaning processes, right? Flash corrosion happens frequently. We, on many occasions, have seen parts being washed, and when a steel part comes out of the wash, even before it gets carried to a separate RP process, it'll almost immediately show rust. We wanted to avoid that, and one of the combination chemistry benefits in using something like this, it's a great 1-2 punch. You're cleaning while providing that RP benefit directly during the cleaning process. So you can, typically you're going to put it in a wash and you can pull it right over to a rinse tank. Some of the combination chemistry in there, it's just going to add to that benefit, but it will definitely prevent the flash corrosion, general corrosion, galvanic corrosion, which is a common thing. And in this case, we were able to successfully make sure that that steel ring insert in the aluminum housing was protected. No etching that went on. In using combination chemistry for this customer, and certainly for many that we work with, it's going to simplify a lot of your processes. For our customer, it ensured that they could use one process to measure concentration. In some processes, if you're using multiple chemistries, you need to worry about drag out from one tank to another, diluting some of the chemistries. But in most cases, those chemistries you're using, you're going to have to use different methods to measure the concentration. It becomes a little more complex than it needs to be. So you can reduce that complexity by using combination chemistry like this customer did. Use one titration method. You can really get rid of the galvanic or the flash corrosion, general corrosion that comes if you're taking something out of a standard wash process and then pulling it into a different process for separate RP application. You can eliminate all of that. It also just makes it more efficient and improves the parts cleaning process. It did for this manufacturer, and it does for many. In conclusion, for this case study and our customer, when they got the parameters from our lab report, we continued to work with them at their facility, and we found that 7.5% concentration of KYZEN's Metalnox 6314 CP was ideal for their spray and air application. Worked extremely well. It met the ISO specs that they had for cleanliness, also ensured 90-day rust protection. So it was exciting to help them out with this opportunity and add that value as we like to do. And from that, there are many questions that come up. These are really the top 3 that I get asked frequently. I'm sure our team does as well. Our combination chemistry is very common. And the answer is no. Candidly, they're not. There aren't a lot of true manufacturers that have sophisticated labs that are producing targeted chemistries to address multiple challenges. And we at KYZEN are very proud that we put in the time and the effort to continue to create and develop new chemistries that will address the needs. Another question that comes up is, why is using combination chemistry important? And I think we've already addressed that significantly, but if you want to simplify your process, if you want to avoid carryover and dilution of different chemistries, if you want to avoid different titration and measurement processes, simplify that process. It's a great way to do that. So it becomes very important for efficiency's sake. The final question is, how can you determine if a combination chemistry is right for your application? And as I think all of us at KYZEN say is, let's have a conversation. Let's discuss the details. Let's understand what the soils are. Are they polar soils? Are they non-polar soils, or both? What are the substrates? Are they only ferrous metals? Are they non-ferrous? Are they combination, like in this case study? Let's talk about the process. Let's talk about the machinery that you're using in the wash process, all of those go into the factoring in whether this would be the right type of product for your application. And from that, we can then hone in and talk about the cleaning variables of time and energy and solvency and temperature. But start with talking to your trusted manufacturer of chemistries, have the conversations. And if you get all the details out in the beginning, it's going to make the process much, much easier for you to come to a solution, to find that solution. With that, I will turn it back over to William.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you all for watching this Tech to Tech session. If you would like to discuss this topic further or have any questions not answered in the session, please contact your local KYZEN regional manager or send an email to tech@kyzen.com, and we will have someone follow up with you as soon as possible. To download the case study this session was based on, click the link in the description. Do you want to have exclusive access to future content sent directly to your inbox, or do you know someone who would benefit from these sessions? If the answer is yes, just go to tech2techbykyzen.com and fill out the subscription form. And if you like this video, be sure to follow us on our social media platforms for more expert cleaning content.